Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience presented by Underdog. This is the cheat sheet for the Genesis Invitational. I'm going to hit you with the bets and picks right now before you can start even loading your questions into the chat. And if you do want to ask a question, you need to be a sub of Mayo Media Network. So subscribe, turn on the notifications, and ask away. Here are the bets for the week at Riviera. Rory, I boosted up the number with my 30% boost. I was able to get down a decent chunk on Rory at 16.5 to 1. Then, if you watched the show on Tuesday with Alex Blickel, we talked a lot about the each way market in terms of the top three. So all of the other bets that I have this week, outside of one, because it's a special boost, are going to be played with the top three each way, which means half your bet is towards the outright winner, half the bet is towards the top three finish, although the outright odds get boosted up as a part of that. For example, I have Harris English at 55 to 1 with the three placements. Matt Fitzpatrick, 60 to 1 with the three placements. This is up from their normal 40 to 1, 35 to 1, whatever it might be. You get extra juice on the outright. When Blickel ran the data on all of this, that's really what it showed out, is that the outright number, what you gain there, is worth the extra two places in terms of the top five in terms of that bet. If you're ever wondering what an each way bet is, just use Google. It's the first thing that comes up. What is an each way bet in golf? It'll give you like 3 or 4 sentences that can explain it far more concisely than I can, because you know that I'm just going to ramble if I end up doing that. If you're ever wondering and being in the market for that. Seb Straka, 75 to 1. Jason Day, 90 to 1. Shane Lowry, 110 to 1. Corey Connors, 200 to 1. Now, if you want to get in on the Geno bet on the LPGA Tour, 4 to 1 over in Thailand, which is a field of 72 players, 12 of which are sponsors exemptions from Thailand, and all of the best LPGA players in the world are not at this event. There's no cut. Keith kind of sold me on it. I bet it at plus 375. Then it went to 4 to 1. So I got a bad number. Either way, I'm not sweating it too much, only because he kind of said that she has like a 2 to 3 times better chance of winning this tournament than Scotty does of winning the Genesis Invitational, based on her being the number one player in the world versus the field that she's playing in her home country as well. That this just seemed like a no-brainer to me. I parlayed that with the Jason Day top 20 for 11 to 1 at the same time as well. Try to get some extra money on the go. And if you really like wasting money, do I have a bet for you? In fact, I got 3 bets for you. Well, you can just make 2 of them. The Kabugu Man, not the worst Kabugu, the better Kabugu, the guy with the 3 names, and something Kabugu at the Magical Kenya Open. He won his last start at this very course. It was on like the Betfair Big Easy Tour in Africa or something like that, but he is 700 to 1. I played at 700 to 1 with 8 placements, so even if he just comes inside the top 8, glorious. I know this is a bet that we make every single year. He misses the cut every single year. Also played him as first round leader in Kenya at 200 to 1. And if you go to coolbet.com right now, that means you need to be in Canada. Outside of Ontario, you can hit the description, get a bonus there as well. Fastest payouts in the biz. Plus, you always get the PME boost. There's 2 for the Genesis Invitational this week. It is Matt Fitzpatrick boosted up to 40 to 1 to win this event. Win only, but 40 to 1, the best number you're going to find on Matt Fitzpatrick in that market. And then I have a 3-leg head-to-head parlay full tournament. Alex Noren over JT Poston, Michael Kim, my guy, over Kevin Yu, who is not playing very well to start the season. Can't drive the ball anymore. That's kind of his thing. His swing is out of whack, even though Michael Kim's swing isn't like going the best right now. Better than Kevin Yu's. And then Matt McNeely over Ben Griffin. All the strides that Ben Griffin made driving the ball a year ago, I mean, we kind of identified him and JJ Spawn as those guys inside the top 10 who probably wouldn't be in the top 10. We start doing the show again this time next year, and it's already hitting them pretty hard. I think Griffin can battle back and still be a really good player, but the way that he's driving the ball right now, it's just not going to be very good for anyone. A reminder to anyone playing DraftKings as well. You can find all the ownership projections, the guys that I like, in the Mayo Media newsletter. It's completely free. The link is down in the description right now. I have write-ups on 5 guys down there, plus the top 11 in projected ownership right now. 2 notes on this. 1, there is a cut this week. There's only 72 players in the field, with the top 50 in ties, and anyone within 10 strokes of the lead is going to make the cut. If I had to guess a player who's not going to make the cut, it's probably Matt Fitzpatrick, because I've bet him Everyone I've seen has bet him. He's projected to be the highest owned guy on DraftKings. And this is a hard course, like 2 or 3 bad shots, you done. You hitting the road. It's hard to make some birdies if you are not playing good golf. This has happened each of the 2 years it's been at Riviera as an elevated event with this weird cut line rule. I think it was Justin Thomas 2 years ago. I forget who it was the year before that, but very chalky type players missing the cut. That the 6 of 6 percentage for this tournament, despite only like 10 people missing the cut, was really low versus some other tournaments. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is the weather. I don't think it's going to be impactful. And I wrote about this more at length in the newsletter release that I put out this afternoon. But Wednesday, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday looks awesome. Like it's not super warm in LA right now, but it's going to be 55, 60 degrees the rest of the week. Maybe in the morning it gets a little bit frostier, but it's not so bad. But there's relatively no wind for rounds 2, 3, and 4. Tomorrow, what it looks like is that there's going to be rain until about midday in LA, and it's going to be windy all day long. Now, there's less than a 5-hour gap between the first tee time and the last tee time. They are playing the course in order, it looks like, at least to me, from what I can tell. But 4 hours and 40 minutes between the first and last tee time. I don't know if play is going to be delayed because of the rain. I would still lean towards the later set of guys. They might get the worst of the wind, but not like marginally. It's not going to be by all that much. It doesn't seem like it's that different in the afternoon from the morning, except it's not going to be raining in the afternoon. So the guys who come on the course without the rain might get super soft conditions and potentially go pin seek. I don't think it's going to be easy by any means, but I'd probably gravitate towards the later guys if I was playing a first round leader. I haven't really looked at that market all that extensively so far this week, but in the first 7 groups, when it starts raining on the course, the first 7 groups that are on, the first 21 players, the only player that is in the top 10 of projected ownership on DraftKings is Jake Knapp. And he is in the second group out. He's the first guy in the first hour and a half to be playing on the course. Everyone else is towards later. Big shocker, they put the guys playing later in the day. They're the best players in the field. Those are the guys everyone wants. The projected ownership on Scotty right now, second of all players behind Matt Fitzpatrick. He is coming in right around 18% ownership. I have no idea if that's wildly off or dead on, but whatever his ownership is going to affect everyone else's ownership. So with the way that Fitz is popping off, expect to see a lot of Scheffler. I guess I'm going to say Fitz, and then a bunch of mid-tier 6,000, low-end 7,000 guys. But we can take that, plus all of your questions, coming up right now on the Pat Mayo Experience.
Pat Mayo Experience.
What is stopping Johnny Vegas from winning this tournament is the first question in the chat from the Mango Mafia Gaming. General skill, I would guess, and just the fact when I was going through, I was wondering, hey, what is going on with Johnny Vegas right now? It's like, how well is he playing? Because when you think of skill sets that could play here, maybe Johnny Vegas wouldn't be all that bad. I'm using the rabbit hole, by the way, betspertsgolf.com/Mayo. Get yourself a discount. Get on over there. And great news for anyone who is a Fantasy National member. Not only do you get access to both of the sites, but let me see here. Let me share that tab instead. We go over to Fantasy National. You can see that I've highlighted some players. Everyone's favorite lineup generator has returned. It is back. It's fixed. It's going to start getting parsed over to the rabbit hole soon enough as well, but you can move your shares around again. How I missed you. I built so many more lineups this week just because I'm so much more comfortable with that lineup builder than I am just with optimizers in general. Here are the players that I want. Build me lineups with the players that I want. Don't add anyone else. I love it so much. But Johnny Vegas, strokes gained total last 6 months. He's dead last. He's behind Brian Campbell in that regard. The only thing that he's doing above average right now is strokes gained around the green. It's not like he's trying to play through it and figure out what's going on. We can see how well he's been doing this season. He is T78 in a field of 80 guys. Cut, and then that's it. So he really hasn't been playing that much golf. 3 rounds, 2 rounds, 4 rounds. The approach is brutal. The ball striking is brutal. Even where he was once able to gain a bunch of strokes off the tee, he's not doing that. He'll end up winning Corrales or something, or the 3M again, or CJ Cup, one of these goober events, and he'll pop up out of nowhere and play really well. But I probably wouldn't be going to Johnny Vegas right now in a cut event with all the best players in the world. When is Hisasune going to get some DraftKings respect and be priced over $8,000? I don't get what people's fascination is with he says so. He's cuss one and done picked this week. Maybe he'll end up being good. He's a good player. I'd probably want him more at a point and click type place. I know he played really well at Torrey Pines. That wasn't the most loaded field at the Farmers Insurance Open this year, but you know, he's all right. Like, where would you want him priced? I guess is the question. Let's take a look at some of these guys. Who are they priced by? Let's see. Rio is how much money this week? Rio is $6,800. Should he be priced higher than Ryan Gerard? I mean, he's not higher than him in the world rankings, and he's not higher than him in odds. So it makes sense that he'd be below Ryan Gerard. Like, if you wanted to argue that he should be, like, do you think he should be ahead of Shane Lowry and Harris English or Seb Straka, who are both, or all three of them, lower than $8,000? No, would be the answer to that. So, you know, if you really like him, you should be just happy he's priced in the below 7,000 every single week. If you had one bet to double your money, what would it be? Like an even money odds? I guess that Noren over Poston, I think, was -103. That would probably be the best bet if you just are looking to double your money. That'd be my favorite one. You know, if I actually just like had $100 to throw down, I'd probably just throw it down on Gino in that LPGA event at 4-1 and see what happens there and try to quadruple my money. Is Glover too cute for DK? He is not a handsome man. So he's never going to win a too cute contest. He was just elected the head of the Players Council or something like that. Those guys tend to go in the tank unless they're Peter Malnati, who ended up winning Valspar. But I don't think it's too cute. He does what you want here. He just hasn't really played that much golf, which is kind of concerning. I guess he's been focusing on being elected to this Players Council. But normally Glover is out there grinding. His wife making him grind, get them paychecks. I guess joining the Players Council, you know, he probably has a pension for life now, good health insurance. That maybe that was on the docket for him, and now he can focus on golf. Not sure. He didn't really clock my radar. These aren't the courses that I love to play this iteration of Glover at. I like him more at easier to putt places where his wedges can really come in handy. He's such a good point and click type player that maybe next week at the COG, if he ends up playing there, or even the Players Champion, I would like him at Sawgrass more than I like him at this style of course. I don't think he's going to win at Sawgrass, but I think that sort of course plays more to his strengths. Pure accuracy off the tee, very good with his irons. Maybe he can get it going with his putter. But here, like, you need to be able to drive the ball pretty far, especially on day one when it's going to be soggy. That carry distance is going to make a huge deal. We can take a look at that as well. I think Byron or Ron tweeted it out earlier, but just again, taking a look at the rabbit hole, let's go past 12 months on this one, just so we get a better sample of what guys are doing off the tee. You can see carry distance in the field. We'll go to average. Who is doing it well? Who is not? Potgieter, Penge, Rory, Kiyama, Minwoo, Ludwig, Xander, Pendrith. Pendrith, I didn't end up using Pendrith, despite Alex and I briefly talking about him. I didn't use Wyndham Clark either, just because I like the guys above and below him, and I ended up going with Noren instead. But if he could just figure out, just get all of his regular play on the same page, he seems like he'd be awesome at this course. And no one is really hyping him up this week just because, you know, the performance really hasn't been there for him of what you would expect from Taylor Pendrith and what he does really well. But as you can see, like, he was kind of bad on approach last week, but very good on approach. This is per round as well. So we take a look at total for the Farmers Insurance Open. Pretty good there, even though he was cut that week. He kind of played really well at the South course and poorly at the North course, which is not something that you normally see. He was cut at the American Express, but his ball striking was excellent at the Stadium course, and he was top 10 at the Sony Open at a shorter course. Now, sometimes he does do his best work at shorter courses, not longer courses, although at a bombs away course, like the Byron Nelson T2 at the Rocket Mortgage would kind of go in the face of that. And actually, even at Quail Hollow last year, Quail Hollow is one of the comp courses. Am I talking myself into Taylor Pendrith? Houston, another one. 3M, another one. Big driver heavy off the tee, like this place is going to be. If you can get that putter rolling, like, you know, if the ball striking can be there, if you can get that putter going, it's not all that bad. Maybe Pendrith actually isn't a bad. May have to go sub in Taylor Pendrith. Maybe that's a guy we can look at for first round leader as long as it's not so bad. He played this tournament once in 2022 and did not go well for him, but that was 4 years ago. He's a better player now than he was back then. Back to the chat. How is Connors 200-1 here and 55-1 at the Masters? Because they don't update the Masters. Guys only go up on the Masters board, whatever they open at. And obviously the course history for Connors is pretty good at the Masters. He's always a really popular bet, despite the fact that he's never actually sniffed contention at the Masters. I think he had 3 top 10s in a row, and he was like never had a chance to win any of those events. But guys only go up. So if, let's say, Patrick Reed, for example, now he's won twice over on the DP World Tour, he opens at 90-1. I don't even know what his number is right now. It's probably like 30-1 or 28-1 after those 2 wins and him being a former Masters champion. But no one went down just because Reed went up. Everyone stayed the same and other people went up. So as long as someone plays well, they move up. No one goes down. Like Zalatoris isn't even in this event. So if Zalatoris was in this event, I don't think he's qualified for the Masters right now, but I think he's like 40-1 to win the Masters. But if he was in this event, he would be 125-1. They don't update the futures. Like if you're betting, the futures market used to be so lucrative and they would just give you giant prices on guys and adjust up and down. And they were like, we don't need to do this. People will win money on an outright bet, then go bet that guy to win the Masters. And we're just going to rook them on odds. Like Connor's number the week, if he's currently playing like this, he's going to be like 150-1. But like he'll settle in at 90-1 like he does every single year anyway. But if you are really fired up and want to bet Corey Connors, you can go do it now for the worst number you're going to see. And part of the 200-1 that I got on Connors is because of that top 3 each way, that it boosts up his overall outright number to get the 3 places as well along with it. But Blickel kind of sold me on him. He's played 6 bad rounds in a row. He played well at the Sony. He's only played 10 rounds all year. If he just does what he normally does well, then he should be really good at this course, especially because the variance of chipping and putting here can be really wonky. Bad chippers and putters can figure this out if they have that line of sight, that maybe he can luck his way into that, because he's going to hit fairways. That his long iron should be really good, theoretically be really good, because that's what he does well. If he can just figure out the putter, un petit peu, it would be good for Jack Canadien, He sold me. I bet it too. Okay, good. I don't remember what that was at this point. Is Jeff mandated to say low-hanging fruit more than once on every show? Probably, yeah. Maybe he's being paid under the table by Fruit of the Loom, and he gets just huge checks for every time he says it. I have no idea why he does. He's fallen into that crutch. I have the crutches. I try to work them out, but anyone that you see that talks on camera or microphone in audio form for over 6 hours a week is probably going to say a lot of the same things over and over and not even really know that they're doing it. Sometimes you got to go back, reflect, and work that out of your system. Is Scotty a play in one and done, or is he too soon for him to go this early? No, this would be a spot where you can use Scotty for sure. Elevated events and majors are where you want to use Scotty Scheffler. And this is an elevated event or signature event, $3.6 million to the winner. If he wins and you have him, that's probably the most, unless he wins the Players' Championship, then you're going to get out of him all year long. And I think there's a lot of people who are of that mindset, like, oh, it's too early to use Scheffler. Is it? I mean, there's no difference between him winning this or him winning the Open Championship. It all pays the same amount of money. It's just you don't want to. I get that he won the Amex, so it feels like a stupid example. But second place here is worth more than his win at the Amex was. So this is why you save him for these type of events. Pat, has there ever been a moment betting golf that made it particularly difficult to come back that following Monday? No. I don't take it that seriously. It doesn't affect my life. I listen, it sucks in the moment. But I've never really let the losses get to me because I do this for fun. If I was a professional bettor and I had all of the money in the world that I had and I needed to get a win and some guy got screwed, I'd feel awful. I just never wanted to put myself in that position. It's fun for me. I don't take the losses particularly hard, and I get very excited when I win. I feel like I get the best of all worlds with that, and I don't bet money that I can't afford to lose. Some people have different hobbies. I like betting on golf. That's my hobby. So no would be the answer to that. I can see that there are some people. I mean, Jeff takes it a bit more painfully, but I think he's very much in the same boat as me as well. Some people handle it better than others, but this is the 16th year of the Pat Mayo experience, the 14th year we've been covering golf betting and betting every single event on this show. Fun fact, the 5,000th episode of the Pat Mayo experience is going to happen, I believe, sometime in June, which is just mental. I was so young when I started this show. It is shocking anyone listened to it when it was a 24-year-old me in much better shape at the time, just firing. Actually, it started as audio. So no one saw me until I was like 27 on camera. But even then, it's been a video show now for over 13 years, and places are still trying to pivot to video. We've been so far ahead of the game on that it's kind of insane to think about. But no, I like doing the show. Doing the show and doing the broadcasting is the fun part for me. I also enjoy betting on golf, but I enjoy the broadcasting part more. So the day that I would show up to do a show that I didn't want to do, I'd probably call it quits. Honestly, I love doing this. This is so much fun. I have no idea. It's the other parts around the job that become a job that are not as much fun. But doing the show, oh, what a laugh. Couldn't ask for a better life than this. So thank you very much for always tuning in. If you really want to help my life be better, sub to the channel, smash the like, and sub to BetSports Golf. Use code Mayo and Underdog as well. That's the stuff that stresses me out, doing the selling part. Talking about golf with people in a chat. Oh my God. Talking to my friends about sports and yelling at them. Fantastic stuff. 5,000 episodes, halfway to 10,000. Probably be dead by the time I get to 10,000. Because I'm not doing like 400 shows a year anymore. I'm only doing like 330 shows a year right now. Actually, I have a few in the cover. We have a new show coming out tomorrow. It's a new concept that I'm trying for the football offseason. I feel like there's not enough silliness and fun on the Pat Mayo experience during the football offseason because we lose Cust as a part of the show. He comes back for football, so we lose Cust for like 6 months. So tomorrow, me, Emerson, and Cam are kicking off what I'm hoping is going to be the new Thursday show. It's going to be rotating guests, a lot of fun guests that I just like to have laughs with, and we're just going to be covering sports stories, silly sports stories. Jared's producing it, so he's going to hit me with the topics. He's going to introduce them, and the three of us are just going to have a round table on it, shoot the shits, crack some wise, and hopefully it's something that people really enjoy listening to because I think it's going to be a lot of fun to record. And generally what I found is that when people are having fun doing the recording, the better that the show is for the listeners. That's why Jeff and I have always been so good together because we have fun doing the show. That show has been very popular over the years, the most popular show that we have. I mean, the two that we have are in NFL season, me, Cust, and Jeff. And we have fun for 3 hours bickering back and forth. People think we all hate each other. We don't. We have a lot of fun doing that show. And then me, Cam, and Rob, we have a ton of fun doing that show as well. They're the two highest rated ones, the most downloaded ones, the ones that we've become known for during football season. And they're the really fun ones that we do. So I'm hoping that this one can mimic that style and people will really enjoy it. So please support that show when it comes out. Commenting on videos, liking videos, all that kind of stuff helps it go up in the algorithm so other people can find it. So stuff like that is always very helpful. So yes, I don't mourn my losses on a Sunday. I always look forward to coming in on a Monday morning to talk some golf, talk some football, whatever it might be. Cootie, first round leader is my bet. Fleetwood is my guy. All right, that's not a question. Fuck right off. Elite thumbnail, Pat. Where do you think of comparing official world golf ranking to DK salary ownership to see who is potentially undervalued? I think that OWGR, by and large, is a very bad metric to look at because it doesn't properly weight the live guys. I would just rather look at, like, honestly, I'd rather do this. Watch. I'll go to the rabbit hole. And I'll say, hey, past 6 months. And well, we had the swing season there. Let's go past 9 months. We'll take average and sort by strokes gained total. I would much rather do this to see who might be undervalued because this gives you a snapshot of who's actually playing well right now. Like Goddard and Knapp, they're up there. Harry Hall might be, by this, Harry Hall is the most undervalued guy on the board this week. Now, I don't believe a whole lot in Harry Hall because he does all of his damage with his putter and chipping. He really can't drive the ball and he sucks at approach. Those aren't the type of guys that I like to play. However, when you take a look at his results, high end, he's probably not going to win, but he has some pretty good results and he's kind of course agnostic. He can kind of pop up everywhere against good fields. Sony, he was 6th. BMW, he was 6th. The Wyndham, he was 15th. The Scottish, he was 17th. He was 9th at a signature event at the Travelers. Like, if he's putting well, he's really hard to come back from. But you can see the moment he stops putting well, he's cut because he just does not have the rest of the game to go along. But he's sort of like Denny McCarthy in a weird way that he can compete with these very top end guys because he has the one skill that he is very non-repeatable for most players, but he's so good on the greens. And that's why I would probably consider him to be undervalued in a field like this because he gains so many strokes. It's in the way that I don't like to pick guys, but that is what's making him undervalued. That and he has absolutely no win equity. So it's going to cap where he's at in the official world golf rankings. But because you're talking about DraftKings specifically, I do think that does make him somewhat undervalued in the eyes of people who are, listen, even me, I'm not using Harry Hall this week at $7,400. I'm using Pearson Cootie. I mean, Pearson Cootie was higher on that list than him, but he's a big driver. He's a good putter. He doesn't really hit his long irons all that well, but he's a really good driver. Harry Hall sucks at driving, but he makes all these putts. It doesn't feel like it's comparable. In your mind, you can talk yourself into Pearson Cootie winning this week because he's up and coming. He has the right skill set, but chances are Harry Hall probably finishes ahead of him this week. That's just the way that it is. Vegas, so cheap. That's good. That's very good looking at a sheet and reading numbers. Congratulations. Is this Cootie's first time at Riv? Yes. 30% boost on Rory or Scotty, first round leader. I had the 30% boost, I'd probably just boost up someone even longer. I like Jason Day as first round leader, honestly. And I don't even know what his first round leader odds are. I probably have to bet that now that I'm talking about it. Don't want to talk about it and not bet it. Let's see what we can get right now for some Jason Day. Here's the live bet on the live show. We're going to go Jason Day, first round leader. Let's see here. Log on to coolbet.com. If you're in Canada, outside of Ontario, you figure that out. You go hit the description, get yourself in there. We got some great boosts for the week. Jason Day's 45 to fucking 1. His first round leader. I want to bet that. Jesus Christ. Oh, this first round leader market sucks. Yeah, this is no good. Yeah, boost up Rory. Rory's 18 to 1. You get a 30% boost. Yeah, just boost up Rory and bet him. I figured Day would be like 75 to 1. Wrong on that. Don't want to bet that. Max salary not working for me on FNGC. I have no idea what that means. It's working. Just generate your lineups. It's easy stuff. You being weird about it? You're trying to do like the fanciest things in the world? Just type in the players you want and generate your fucking lineup. You'll be fine. Do we know if the course has changed at all since the fires last year, like the terms of makeup or the rough? The rough might be thicker because it's been so wet. I spoke with Nathan Hubbard, actually, who I believe lives at the course. He's a member at Riviera. That was actually the first thing I asked him last week. I was like, hey, has anything changed since the fires? He's like, no, it's exactly the same as it's been. The course was not affected whatsoever. They did lengthen that par 3 on the front, the 4th hole, but that's about it. Why do you believe the odds were so bad this week? No football, small field. Yeah, I think so. And maybe they're just taking a handle anyway, that this is the way that they want to play it out. With that top 3 each way, we were able to extend a few guys a bit further down the board. But if they continue to run out odds like this every week, which they won't because it's the Cognizant next week, but we might get this again at Bay Hill, that I think that they're going to see that their handle is down. No one wants to bet these odds. They're really, really bad. One and done, 50-person pool. Tommy, Rory, Cantlay, or Fitz. Of those 4, I'd take Rory. Joseph Gordon Lovett not playing Glover in a movie. I don't know who Gordon. I think you mean Joseph Gordon-Levitt, not Gordon Lovett. I don't. It's weird stuff. On your weekend show, you mentioned lefties do well at this course. Why is no one mentioning McIntyre? Do you like him this week? Well, I drafted him in every underdog draft that I did this week, and I think I'm playing like a pretty good chunk of. I think that I am. I mean, he was in my player pool. I don't see why I wouldn't. I do like him this week. I didn't like his odds to bet him, and I think that's what happened with him. I think that you'll see that maybe he ends up, I actually have no idea what his ownership percentage is going to be. Let's look at it right now. Ownership percentage, you can find all of this at betspertsgolf.com underneath the optimizer section. Where are we at here for Bobbert Mack? Yeah, like right around 12%. So more than Ludwig, less than McNeely, right around Rose, more than Adam Scott, and these type of guys. Scott, like this is the part of the board that I like. I know everyone's like, everyone's using Straka, but like Day, Scott, Lowry, Straka, Harris English, who people are on. Obviously, I bet him to win as well. But like this range of guys, you can play like 5 of these guys together with a Hovland or Siwoo, and it's a pretty interesting build. I have a few of those lineups. I'm not logged into DraftKings on this computer because, of course, I'm not. Let me take a look. I'll just bring up the app, see what I can find here. How much Bobby Mack do I have this week? Upcoming lineups, view my player exposure. He's my 3rd most owned player this week. 33% of lineups is where I have Bobby Mack. So I'm overweight on Bobby Mack. If you do want to know, for reference, Harris English, 45%, Rory, 44%, Bobby Mack, 33%, Noren, 29%, Mav, 29%, Day and Lowry, 29%, along with Matt Fitzpatrick at 28%. He's going to be the highest owned guy, and I will be overweight on him, but I'm not going extremely overweight on Matt Fitzpatrick. You keep loading up the chat. You need to be subbed to Mayo Media Network in order to ask a question. But first, sit through these ads. A well-built wardrobe isn't about having more clothes. It's about having the right pieces that actually work together and hold up over time. And that's why Wince does it the best. So expect to see some new looks on the show in the not-too-distant future. Wince has everyday essentials I love, with quality that lasts, organic cotton sweaters, a lightweight or spring jackets, and higher-end long-sleeve tees that are monochromatic, the Pat Mayo staple. It's all designed to be easy to wear and easy to rely on. They work directly with top factories and cut out the middleman, so you're not paying for brand markup, just quality clothing that's built to handle daily wear and still look good season after season. The coat I picked up is holding up way better than the other coats that I bought that cost way more. It's stylish, it keeps me warm, it didn't break the bank. Refresh your wardrobe with Wince. Go to wince.com/mayo for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's QUINCE.com/mayo. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Wince.com/mayo. Using a VPN is like wearing pants online. All your activity is encrypted and private, hidden from trackers, snoopers, and data brokers. That is why you need Surfshark. Surfshark can help you avoid dynamic pricing by connecting to cheaper locations to save money on everything from flight tickets to hotel bookings. You can change your virtual location to safely stream content from home or unlock regional shows and movies that might be restricted in your current country. With Surfshark, fast connection speeds are guaranteed across their extensive network of servers in 100+ countries. And the Clean Web ad blocker is an efficient feature that blocks annoying ad trackers and malware before they even load, resulting in a faster, cleaner, and safer browsing experience. Secure your privacy with Surfshark. It's completely risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Right now, go to surfshark.com/PatMayo and use my code PatMayo for 4 extra months at checkout. That link and code are in the show notes and description. I'm currently 4 months off cigs, and cravings aren't just about nicotine. They're about habit. The hand-to-mouth motion, that quick pause during the day and when you're trying to quit, it's breaking that loop that's the hardest part. That's why people replace smoking with eating, something of which I am very guilty of. That's where Fume comes in. Not only is Fume spelled with an umlaut, which is awesome, Fume is a flavored air device designed to help you ditch vaping or smoking by replacing the habit itself. No nicotine, no batteries, no vapor, just a weighted, twisty, fidget-friendly device that gives your hands and mouth something to do when the cravings hit. I've had these moments where I just normally reach for a cig. Instead, I just grab my Fume to fidget with. That interruption is exactly why it works. The flavors are lighter too. Think like flavored water versus soda. Crisp mint, strongest if you're a heavy user. Raspberry, got some more of that tangy sweetness. It's quite nice. Fume has already helped over 700,000 people take steps towards better habits. And now, it's your turn. Use my code MAYO to get a free gift with your Journey Pack. Head to tryfume.com. That's tryfum.com and use code MAYO to claim your free gift today. Welcome back. I got my Fume in my hand right now. It's great. It's like sucking in flavored air. It's awesome. What I was going to use a vape pour for when I quit smoking, I started using this to really give it a haul too. And it's just air. It's fantastic news. I could run. My VO2 max has gone up like 10 since I've stopped smoking in 4 months. It's kind of wild just to think about how much smoking was destroying my lungs, but Fume. So it's working for me. It can work for you as well. Hopefully it works forever. That would be fantastic news. It would save me a ton of money too. Code Mayo if you want to get in on it right now. Models like Kitayama, good course fit. I would say yes, good course fit. He's just not playing very well right now. He is the type to just kind of pop out of nowhere. Wasn't necessarily for me though this week. What do you think about using Scotty Scheffler in one and done? Do you think he'll be low owned? Already went over Scheffler, but yeah, I do think he'll be relatively low owned. Like he'll probably be like 7%. People will use Scheffler as they should. It's a good spot to use him. As Keith said, when he will begin attending the tournament so we can get some practice driving range insights. He's going to be at PGA National next week for the COG, so he will be joining me live from the course. I might actually go and meet him just before Bay Hill as well. I might go to the finals of the TGL that week at the beginning of March. My wife's giving me the side eye because she's due like 2 weeks after that, their third kid. So I need to book those like flexible tickets that if something happens, I can get on a flight immediately and get back home. But I might go travel to go see that, meet up with Keith. Maybe we do the show in person, one-on-one from the TGL arena, or maybe I'll drive to Orlando to do it from Bay Hill with him. But yeah, he'll start being, now that we're in Florida, he is going to be on the course more and more and more as the season goes along. How are we feeling about Lowry? Well, I bet him, so good, I suppose. Will Tommy be 20% owned in one and done? Ooh, I have no idea. I'm really bad at predicting the ownership in one and done because I figured like Xander would be super low owned this week, and then other people told me like everyone's using Xander. So I have no idea. I'm using Xander in the $1,000. I used Tommy last week, so I can't use him anymore. I would have guessed Rory would have been the guy that Rory or Fitzpatrick would have been the two highest owned, but or Cantlay, because it's a good time to burn Cantlay. Like those three guys, I would expect to be pretty highly owned. After that, I guess like Scheffler, Xander, Fleetwood, Siwoo, maybe. I don't know. Hideki, maybe. There's a lot of options for this one. How does Fleetwood and Henley rank for Genesis? Having a nice discussion about these two for one and done with my bro. I think that there are better spots to use Henley. It's funny because in the projection, he projects as the highest, like per points per dollar kind of guy. He can get away with it here as well. I don't love his odds. I don't think many people are going to be using him on DraftKings. I think Fleetwood is a better match. Fun fact about Fleetwood, I tweeted this out earlier, is that he's gotten better every time that he's played in this event. Now, obviously, last year, that this wasn't the case, that it wasn't at this course. It wasn't at Riviera. So, what do you care about that? You don't really. But let's take a look at Fleetwood for a second. He was funny because he sucked during the Dubai swing earlier this year and really came out at a shorter course, mind you, at Pebble last week. But we'll take a look at the Genesis Invitational. So he was T5 last year, but every start at Riviera, he's gotten better. T37, T28, T20, T10. So he's probably going to be like T5 this week. He's putted really well on these surfaces the last two times out. The putting and chipping here is really weird. Some guys got it, some guys don't, but it can be flipped on its head. Like, as I went over on the research show, Morikawa went from worst to first in putting year over year. Luke List went from worst to like second best year over year. So anyone can kind of do it. There's been a history of really bad putters winning at this course over time, and these are per round totals. So, gaining what, 0.2 of a stroke, 1.43, that average to total. Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't been great for him. His first two times off the tee, he was really good. You think tee to green that he would be better than this, but he's a much better player now that he's the top 5 in the world rankings. That I think that it's a pretty good look for Tommy Fleetwood. He's not my favorite guy this week. I preferred Pebble Beach for him, honestly, than this. But when you're thinking about players that possess the overall skill set, that are just good at everything, that's what led me to Harris English this week, albeit at a much deeper price than Tommy Fleetwood, is that Fleetwood is the best. Scotty's the best version of that. Fleetwood is probably the second best version of that. And then guys like Henley. And I think that, honestly, in terms of pure talent, although the numbers would not back this up, I happen to think that Russell Henley is closer to Harris English than he is to a Tommy Fleetwood, and closer to that level of tiered down from the very best players. He can spike at the right times, but if you want to use Henley, last week would have been a good week, although he didn't have a good week. That would be the course that I would trade. He won at Bay Hill last year. That's a signature event. That's in 2 weeks' time. Travelers, he made it to the finals with Keegan and Fleetwood. Like those shorter courses, Heritage would probably be a better look for him. Ones where having to be long off the tee makes courses easier. Those types of courses, I just don't ever feel like are going to advantage Russell Henley enough where I would want to use him, versus the courses where his elite accuracy can really come in handy along with his great irons and putting, where it's a lot like Lowry this week. Like Lowry's not long off the tee. Straka's not long off the tee. Like Straka has won more than Henley has over the past 2 years, including they both won signature events, yet Straka gets treated like he sucks all the time, although he can probably win at a course like this just as much as Henley can. And he's 3-4 times the odds, whatever they're 3 times the odds. That you have to think about it in those terms, then like in grouping players together and what skill sets they have. I would want guys to hit the ball a little bit further this week. And for me, that would be Fleetwood over Henley, but I don't like either of them, honestly, all that much. Thoughts on Ludwig? I really have none. I'm just, until he can turn it around, I'm just kind of done with him for right now. Thanks for the shows, Pat. Thank you for tuning in. Smash the like. For this week with the wet greens, do we think the guys can fire at these pins more than previous years? Probably more than in previous years. I don't think that they're going to be firing at a ton of pins because you're going to get less rollout on this, like even the baked out rough where the ball can still roll a little bit on the Kikuya, that if it's wet, the ball is going to stop, which means that these approach shots are going to come in from even farther away. It's hard to control spin from that distance, height from that distance. And even though the course should play softer on Thursday, it'll probably get baked out again pretty soon. Like they've been anticipating these sort of conditions coming in. They might have a bit more spin control than usually that they have on greens this firm, but you might want to not necessarily be looking at the highest apex ball flight guys this week. There are guys with lower trajectories that can probably get it done, but it's not that big of a deal for me. Sounds like you are out on 20 leg to make cut parlay, even though all 70 could make the cut. I mean, yeah, you can if you want. I didn't see any like fair odds on that market. everyone was like minus 2,000, weren't they? Let me see. Let's see here. I can cook up one if you want to. If we want to be cooking up to make the cut, I didn't even see him make the cut market. That's why I didn't really even think of it. Usually it hops off the page to me, but I didn't see any. Let's see, to make cut. There it is. Okay. Let's take a look here. What do we got for make the cut? No, this is for the Magical Kenya Open. I don't have odds for the Genesis Invitational for make the cut. They're not offered. They might be offered on DK, but I don't have access to DK where I am. Suppose I can bring it up and take a look. I would highly doubt that they're. I don't even know if they offer like to make the cut parlays on DK, but I could be wrong about that because I don't play on the site. Top finishes. I have no idea where to look for any of this stuff. If you just tell me the book, I'll try to look it up if you can find it. If you tell me what book that you can make those bets at, let me know. You can't do it at 365. 5,000. I think I've listened to 4,800. Brandon, that's a lot. You should probably quit now, honestly. Get your life back. That's too much me in your life. But thank you for tuning in. It's great. I know the field isn't set yet, but Knapp is going to be the favorite next week. Can you name a few other top players that might be playing? Brooks is playing. Bridgman is playing. Hell, this is why you should sub to Jack Humphreys stuff, because Jack has most of this. He has all of this in his planner. Guys that have committed to playing so far. I think Adam Scott is in the field next week. I'm actually going to throw that in the chat right now. People are looking for it. If I can find it. When was I DMing with Jack? Sometimes you're there. There's JH. Just follow Jack on Twitter. Is probably the easiest way to do it. At JH4Do Media is to find Jack if you're going to be looking for him that way. But I can give you a quick insight. I don't want to give away too much of his premium content because this is what he does. See Aaron Rye, Adam Scott, two guys that are both projected to play right now. Knapp, Billy Horschel, Brooks, as I mentioned, is in the field. Justin Thomas may or may not play. Probably not going to play, but he's going to be back soon enough. Knapp, as you mentioned, Highsmith is probably back as the reigning champion. Keith Mitchell's won there before, so he's probably going to play. Clanton, Matt McCarty, Michael Kim, Michael Brennan, those type of guys, I'm guessing that you're going to find in the field at the Cognizant. So, yeah, Knapp probably is going to be the favorite. He's going to be probably 10-1 to win that event, which is nuts to think about. Does Bobby Mack not fit the player profile? I think I already did the Bobby Mack spiel, didn't I? I already did that. How great was Olympic hockey today? How nervous were the Team Canada fans in the third period? I don't know. I really have no idea. I was watching the game. I was like, yeah, I hope Canada wins. They got down. I was like, yeah, I guess Canada's going to lose. No big deal. That doesn't bother me either way. I'm sure that there's like absolute sickos who like had a panic attack and like are taking tomorrow off work because it was so stressful for them. That's how much that they put behind this. Despite having no money on the line, they're just real fucking weirdos. I don't really understand why people get really invested in it. It's nice if they win. If they lose, my day doesn't get affected whatsoever. But some people take it very, very seriously. So I'm guessing they were sweating. They were probably fired up when Canada ended up coming back to win. The U.S. did the same thing in the game that I was watching with them in Sweden, that they came back. They ended up winning an OT. So it was a pretty exciting day. Of Olympic hockey's been really good so far. See if Slovakia can keep up this run that they're doing. You plan on having a baby the week of the players or just lucky? Congrats. The week of the Valspar, it is projected to come out right now, but we'll see how that ends up going. What happened to Fantasy National? Well, I rebought it and sold it within a day 6 months ago. And the new owners are converting everything over to the rabbit hole. So they had to redesign the site to make it match the code of the rabbit hole. And then they were going to take everyone's favorite tools eventually from Fantasy National and just bring them all over to the rabbit hole. So that's what's been going on there. It's out of my hands. I love that site. I was a co-founder of that site, and I'm working hard to protect all of the tools. So the tools from Fantasy National getting fixed. I believe that's step one. They'll start parsing them over to the rabbit hole so you can use them on the rabbit hole. Step two is incorporating all the shot-by-shot level DP World Tour data into the rabbit hole. And then step three is fixing the Fantasy National app, because that too needs to be completely recoded. But hopefully when it comes back, it has Senior Tour, DP World Tour, PGA Tour, and Korn Ferry Tour. Anything that could potentially use Shot Tracker might be on the app, and that would be awesome. So hopefully everything will start working a lot better now, but I'm not a developer. I'm not in charge of it anymore. That I wasn't ever in charge of it in the first place because I was just kind of talking about it and kind of head of sales of the entire thing. But not even that anymore. But the site is functional right now. I'm using Fantasy National, so if you have Fantasy National, you can go use it. And if you have Fantasy National, you get access to the rabbit hole. Two sites, one membership. Make it easy on yourself. Quail Hollow type leaderboard? Question mark? Yeah, I think so. Who would you say are the top long iron players? It seems like it's the most common range. Man, you should really watch the research show that I do every single week where we talk about things like, in order, the list of the best long iron players in the field. You'd love it. It's completely free and it's on Mayo Media Network. Maybe you need to turn on the notifications to figure it out. Scotty Scheffler is a guy. He's pretty good at hitting his long irons. He's someone you should consider this week. Not quite sure what his odds are. I don't know if he's the favorite, if he's not, but he's someone who's good. I would consider him. But if you really want to know, I can just bring it up on the rabbit hole right now. That's why you should have the rabbit hole or Fantasy National, by the way, because this stuff is at the tip of your fingers. If you want to check it out, I'm going to go to a rough approach proximity over the past, let's go past 8 months, because you only hit the fairway half the time here. So let's see who's good from 150 and beyond. From the rough, Vegas in that one category, he's like the worst at the other stuff. Rory is pretty good. Fowler, pretty good. You can see Noren is awesome from all these ranges. How I ended up with a ton of Noren this week is because that Patrick Rogers, very good from that range. Michael Kim, very good from these ranges. Where is old Scheffler? Hovland, very good from 125, kind of all the way up. Matt McCarty, pretty good from 150. The longer you get, the worse that he is. But Matt McCarty, pretty good from that range. Harris English, very good from that range. Corey Connors, Harry Hall, shockingly enough. Lucas Glover, until you get too long out of the rough. Once you get beyond 200 yards, he ain't so good. Scheffler's like bad from 175 to 200 out of the rough. The thing is, this is easier to parse out, is that our guy's going to be playing from the rough or no? So let's take a look at these guys. Who's going to be playing from the rough of these guys? Vegas, yes. Rory, yes. Fowler, yes. Penge, yes. Noren, probably. Michael Kim, yeah. Aaron Rai, no. Hoagie, yes. Rogers, yes. Hovland, give or take. Brian Campbell, no, he's going to hit fairways. McCarty's probably going to hit fairways. Harris English, probably going to hit fairways. Connor's probably going to hit fairways. Glover and Morikawa, probably going to hit fairways. Hoey, yes. Minwoo, no. Gerard, maybe. Scheffler, yes. He generally plays from the fairway. So knowing the context of the player is very interesting with that as well to help you inform your decisions, because we're just talking about rough. We just go overall approach proximity. We have fewer buckets to look at, but you can see the 150 to 200 range. Hovland, Glover, Siwoo, Spahn, and Rory. And then we go to the 200 plus category. Ludwig, Scott, Hideki, Hovland, Straka. There's Connors popping up. You see Scheffler's just kind of green across the board at every approach range. Although lately he has been worse from this bucket than he has been in the past. So if there's ever a way that you'd want to fade Scotty, like, well, he's not hitting it as well as he normally does from that range. I've learned that just all you want from Scotty is a bad first round. And then you can bet him at plus 300 to come inside the top 10 when he's like 30 strokes back after round one. And it's like the easiest cash in the world. I made more money off of betting Scotty Scheffler top 10 last week after 24 holes than his outright odds were before the week. So if you ever see him get down, bet on him to come back. That's like the most profitable thing you can do in golf, betting right now. How do you normally differentiate round one showdown from your weekly player pool with no in-tournament data to go off of? Well, I don't really play round one showdown unless it's at Torrey Pines. And then I just take people playing the North Course. That's it. It's the only time I play round one showdown all year long. If your goal is to get first in a $4,000 to $5,000 entry one and done, what's the start on the use of live players given their high ownership? Bryson, Rahm, Hatton, all must plays. This obviously impacts how we would pick the PGA Tour. I don't think you actually have to use any of them, honestly. If you don't want to. I mean, using Bryson and Rahm is probably good. You can mix them in wherever, but you can leverage off of them. You don't have to use them. There's enough good PGA Tour players to go around that you can fit in 15 guys between signature events and majors if you feel like the ownership is going to be too high. Hell, you can even like pivot off of one of the very top guys. If everyone wants to use Bryson at the US Open, you use him at the PGA Championship, and you can use Rahm at the Open Championship or something like that to make it easy to go through. With more receptive greens from the rain, do we think around the green is more predictive? Trying to convince myself not to bet Hovland because he can't chip. I mean, that was what Blickel said, is that if you get a more consistent feel around the greens, that means the better around the green players might be more predictive, which would not be Victor Hovland. He'd be awful around the greens if that was the predictive nature of it. But the one thing that we have figured out by reversing the data and going through everything is that it's just very random at this course because the lies are so patchy. Keith was the one who was pointing this out, that because of the grass type and the kikuya that's around the green, it doesn't really roll much. It could be sitting up, it could be sitting down, and it really depends on your lie when you walk up. It was the same thing that he had mentioned that he was hearing about Phoenix this year, and that played out in Phoenix this year. We saw so many guys flub chips in Phoenix because of the colder winter that they had. It was just very patchy around the green. So if you drew a bad lie, it was tough to dig your club into the ground, and it created some bad shots. And that's just what you're going to see here. The ball control is usually very hard. Maybe with more receptive greens, that might be a little bit different, but I would guess by Saturday or Sunday, that's not going to be the case anymore. Any thoughts on round one scoring? Rory under 69.5. I hadn't thought about it, but sure, that sounds good to me. Go for it. Scotty has finished top 5, 9 straight events. Thoughts on parlaying Scotty top 5, including ties, with a Rory or Xander type player to win outright to boost the payout, or not worth it? I absolutely think that's not worth it. Just Xander's like 25-1. Would you really need to boost him up at 25-1? Seems crazy to me. Is he set Sune real? 3 straight top 10s on some pretty legit courses. He's priced very cheaply, and I don't think we should let Cuss scare us off. Ha! Famous last words on that one, pal. Good luck. Cook is up as a Cook us up a UD play. All right, let's see here. Let's jump over to Underdog. Let me log in here. I won't share my screen as of yet and see if my college. I actually haven't played Pick'em in like weeks. I was playing a few on the weekend at Pebble for Underdog, but here we go. Let's screen share that right now. I almost played the ads again. You probably don't want to see me talking. You can just see me like doing some fume right now. Oh yeah, flavored air. Get it in you. Yeah, I keep trying to blow it out, but there's nothing to blow out. It's always the weirdest part. Screen share. Let's go here. All right. Let's see let's see what we're doing right now. Live pick 'em. I want to see if my college basketball. I have one guy, Whitshell Jr. I've just been using SharpStack. This is how I was printing money before, was just taking the best plays. All right, let's get this Arizona Alabama game done, and we'll have Latrell Right Shell Jr. finish with lower than 12.5 points. He only has 6 with 3 minutes left. Let's get that guy on the bench. I never heard of any of these guys. Jabari Smith Jr. is the only guy that I've heard of the 6 players that I pick him on. But SharpStack has been so good to me for basketball that anything that's over 5% EV on SharpStack, code Mayo over there if you want to get in on it. It's actually great. I highly recommend SharpStack if that's what you're checking out. But yeah, pick them. And suggest some stuff here. We got some profit boosts on the go. 30%. Oh yeah, I can't give up a 30% PGA profit boost. Let's go. Okay, $11 in bonus funds too. Look at me, I'm flush over here right now. All right, what do we want to do? Who do we like? We said Rory McIlroy. I think he's a guy. Here's a guy. Lower than 69.5 is 0.88. Don't like that. Although I do have that boost. Who do I like? I like Fitz. I said I like Jason Day. Let's get some Jason Day love in our life right now. Let's see what we can do with Jason Day in round 1. Greens in regulation, 10. That would be higher. Birdies are better. He's really been snookered down a little bit here. Round strokes, lower. Tournament. I don't like the tournament adjusted positions, although because they only offer the better. I actually like the worst market in a lot of those. The Ludwig worse than top 20 market was like very profitable. That was one of like Blickel's favorite things. Let's go with birdies are better, higher on Jason Day. Of 3.5. Probably take that Rory one. This one's not going to be very interesting, I don't think. Rory, I like. I don't know why it does that to me on Underdog on desktop. Needs to figure it out. 4 or birdies are better for Rory. Yeah, let's do that. Well, let's get some of that love back in our life right now. And we need to find someone who's someone we don't like. Where's Kevin Yu? I really don't like Kevin Yu, but I doubt though they are offering him up. What are they saying for Kevin Yu? Cuts made. If I could have cuts missed, that would be great. So he's not doing me any good here. What else can we get here for the PGA? Scotty, Burns. Burns should be pretty good. There was an interesting Morikawa fact that I put out, so I probably should remember what it is, but Morikawa, what was that stupid Morikawa fact that I had? It was how he plays the week after he wins, and shockingly, he has enough wins to kind of make it matter. We'll see here. Let's go to Morikawa. Colin Morikawa is coming off his first PGA Tour win since the 2023 Bay Current Classic. His best finish after a win came at the Century in 2024 by finishing T5. Morikawa has gained on average 0.83 strokes on approach to the green, the most of any player since 2020. But yeah, T5, T26, T31, T41, T48 in his 5 starts following a win for Colin Morikawa. So maybe he stumbles out of the gate a little bit. It's not fun to go against Colin Morikawa when he's doing pretty good, although he's higher on it. Of course, people are in on this. Oh, God. 3.5 birdies or better. Let's just go lower on him. We're at 0.66. Sign of the devil. There we go. There's the 3 we can do right now. We'll throw that one in. If someone has better picks, you can dump them into the chat. Maybe I can find it at the end. But if you guys do want to play this one, I will dump it into the chat right now. Let's see. Oh my God, there's a lot of questions here. So I should probably speed this up, is probably what you're saying, so I can get to your question. Cook us up. I think Rio's a great call and will be cuss one and done, and will be one cuss mentions for years. Okay, that's great. Sounds like you really like them. Pat, I'm a new listener this year. I love head-to-head picks. This week was wondering if you should use your models for head-to-head market in past weeks. If you should use, I mean, I don't know. I don't use them for head-to-heads. It's probably the best way to do it. Although, if you do have the BetSperts Golf Rabbit Hole membership, one thing that you can do is underneath the tools section, there is the custom matchups. If you want to play 2 head-to-heads or even 3 balls, you can type in the players, and then you can get the odds. I believe, who is it? Like Scheffler, Siwoo, and someone are playing together. I think it's Xander. Let's just pretend like that's the case. I don't know what their odds are right now. Let's call Scotty, I don't know, minus 115. We'll call Siwoo. Tell he'd probably be what, plus 250 in this group. Just because, and then Xander be like plus 150. Let's say that these are the odds. These are not the odds. We'll just say that they were. You can run your simulation and it will give you percentage to win, percentage to tie, and then the break-even odds. All 3 of these would have negative expected value. So you would not want to play any of these, but this works for 3, 4. Sometimes you get those like, you can run these 5 or 6 for nationality odds. Sometimes books will offer by grouping, and you just have 5 players and you can see what their odds are. This is a very effective tool and probably more of what you're looking for. But you can try that out too. I'm in MTT. What's the most amount of dollars you'd be willing to leave on the table? Multi-tournament. I don't know what MTT is. Next. Are you concerned about Tommy's lack of distance? Not really, because he's just so good at driving the ball. And it's not like he's short off the tee. There's guys that are short and there's guys that are average and above average. He's above average and hits a ton of fairways, which is good. You're going to do the show from the hospital when the baby is born. If not, will someone else post content on your channel? Probably not. No. I very much doubt anyone else is going to post content on my channel. I was back to work the day after when my first 2 kids were born. I don't see why I wouldn't be again. Seems like Goddard struggles on POA. Is this a course where his tee to green game can overcome this issue? I mean, I don't know that about. It seems like he struggles. Guys struggle until they don't. I mean, putting is pretty fickle to begin with. But let's go with this for a second. See if we can figure this out. Because we might just be looking at like 5 rounds of coverage here. Let's see. Goddard putting in general, 46th. Over the past 6 months. So on average, he loses 0.04 strokes per round on the greens. So keep that in mind. So he's been bad on POA. That's 11 rounds. Not really sweating 11 rounds. It's not that big of a deal because guys can, suck on them for a little bit and they can be really good on them for a little bit. 11 rounds doesn't really tell me anything. And that's 3 rounds from earlier this year. And one of them he gained, 2 of them he lost massively. I think that was the second time that he had played Torrey Pines. So, and at Pebble Beach last week, he really sucked. But those POA greens really have no relation to these POA greens because those greens are super slow and the greens at Riviera are super fast. So they don't have a ton in common with one another. I wouldn't be scared off. As a tiebreaker, sure. It's better to go with the guy who's better on it than not. But 11 rounds, not super sweating that right now. Smash a like. Thoughts on Hideki for one and done? Seems overlooked, playing well. I like Hideki this week for one and done, and I agree with you. Pat, I have $25 I need to burn before expiry. Your favorite top 20s at plus odds. I think I actually played one of these this week. I don't think I made it public. I think I just kind of played it to play it because I was fucking around like on the can or something and playing some bets. Let's see here. Yeah, 4-leg parlay. Day, McNeely, Lowry, and Novak. $50 plays 2,300. So $25 would pay what? 1150 for those four guys. Day, McNeely, Lowry, and Novak. You can sweat that one along with me. And that's the with ties market too. So if you play it without ties market, it'd probably be worth more money. I don't like chopping up bets like that. Just give me the full payment if that's a way. Rory Kabuga Man parlay. Let's go. I think you need to put up the 1,000 to 1 on the Kabugu Man anymore. But hey, if you want to. DK has make the cut. Most guys are minus 400. 20 leg max all players. They do all DP World Tour and PGA most weeks now for miscut. They normally do where I look too. They're just not doing it this week because of the stupid event, because it's only the top 15 times. I mean, if you want to go crazy with it, I don't know what the payout of that would be if you played 20 guys minus 400. Just take the top 20 guys on the board minus 400. What would the payout on that be? Maybe 30 to 1. Yeah, it's probably worth a shot. I'd probably try to be, I don't know what it would be for like 10 guys. I'd probably try to be conservative, only play a 10-leg parlay instead of a 20-leg parlay. But even if you wanted to round robin 20 guys, just in case one of them misses the cut, you could do 19 parlays of 19 guys. Try it that way. It's interesting. It all depends on what the odds are, though. Like, enough guys have missed this cut as top-end players, even in these signature events over the year, that I probably wouldn't do that. Morikawa more likely to win back-to-back weeks, or Cantlay finally back in the winner's circle. Even though I just went over the Morikawa odds, how he has played after win, it's still Morikawa. This green G hack attack. You're not really asking any fucking questions, man. I won't have to ban you for life. I know that you're in here, but no one really cares about your running fucking commentary here. Start your own show. Pat, will you make a best ball round 1 recap video for your best teams after the Cognizant? Probably not. No, I don't care that much. I'll tell you how I'm doing. How about that? Is it under Genesis, then outrights, then tab, cut tab? No idea what you're talking about. Last question. Love these Q&A sessions. Can you explain the Kabuga Man love? Sick name. Is it so all tail, but is there a reason? We bet him each of the past like 6 years. He's the best Kenyan player, so he plays this course a ton. He actually, the last time he played golf, he won at this course on some sort of goofy tour. We make the bet every year. We lose money on it every year. It's just fun. It's fun to bet on the magical Kenya Open. It's magical. How could you not want to bet on it? Let's see. DK single entry, P-Raj versus Wyndham Clark. I'm not playing either of those guys, so no. Both WC guys. Pat better form this year, but thought Wyndham's irons were better last week. I'm not playing any of them. So no. If you had $6.6 billion, would you buy the Seahawks? No. You just never see me again if I had $6.6 billion. Or you'd see a lot of me. One of the two. Oh, Hideki. All right. Hideki higher than 11.5 GERs. I actually like that one. So let's see if we can, although I've already used my 30% boost, let's see if the chat gave me enough to go on with. And I'll make one for the chat that we can all play together. So Hideki higher than 11.5 greens in regulation. I like that. Pat, I went to the same high school as James Hahn. Oh, I can't yell it now. My kids are asleep upstairs. And enjoyed your screaming of his name. That is all. I love the show. I love James Hahn. He won me money. He's won me a lot of money over the years. I like James Hunt a lot. Hovland, McIntyre, or English in the one and done? I like English here. Lowry short off the tee. Were you? Yes, but he's 110 to 1, so I don't care. Jake Knapp is the cog. This is true. What is getting you into Harris English besides my write-up and what I went over at the beginning of the show? Nothing else beyond that. The newsletter is free to both read and to subscribe to. It's down in the description. You can see the full paragraph that I wrote on Harris English and why I like him this week at his 55 to 1 with the top 3 odds. When a player wins multiple times in a year, does it sway you off of betting them in further events? Hard for me to foresee Goddard winning again, but again, I love him. I kind of take that out of my mind. Like it's really bizarre how we do these mental gymnastics a lot of the time. I like to think about wiping the slate clean. Like, I know I gave you that stuff about Morikawa. It's a completely irrelevant thing. It's just he's won 5 times and he's never won 2 times in a row. Most guys don't win 2 times in a row. That doesn't mean they can't win 2 times in a row. Ben Griffin won 3 times last year. Goddard's a better overall player than Ben Griffin. Of course, he could win more. That was another one of the big stats that I put out. Chris Goddard is looking to become the first player since Johnny Miller in 1975 to win 3 of his first 6 events of a PGA Tour season. That's kind of wild. Johnny Miller did it twice in back-to-back years in 74 and 75. That was the last guy to do it. So is it Is Goddard not going to win this week because of that, or because he's playing in a signature event and he's not the best guy in the field? In fact, he's probably not one of the 5 best guys in the field. That's probably more likely of why he's not going to win, but it would not dissuade me from betting him at any event as long as the number is right. In fact, when I ran the simulations this week, and even when Blickel ran his, those are in the newsletter as well, and you can see like the plus EV odds, Goddard was one of the most plus EV guys. In fact, he's still somewhat undervalued right now based on the market because of exactly what you're saying, is that people don't think that he can win again because he's won twice already. All right, well, he's won twice already. So what is it? Guys who never win, they're more likely to win than a guy who's won twice already. I like what's the optimal amount of times you should win in a year to win again? That's the part that I don't quite get. You can see up on the screen right now, I have the golf projections for win percentage, the make cut percentage. Your make cut percentage is looking pretty good on Scotty Scheffler, 98% to make the cut this week. So our simulations do not like Goddard up as much. He's down here by Matt Fitzpatrick, like he's behind Nico. So like I think that's wrong. That's on me. Although it's hilarious that Nico has a 1.9% win percentage, which is higher than Fitzpatrick and Goddard, but he's half of their top 5 percentage, which is kind of funny to think about sometimes. Like, for whatever reason, the simulator loves Nico. I don't, because I really don't think this is a good course for him. But for whatever reason, they think he's got a bit of win equity in him. But his top 5 and top 10 percentage and top 20 percentage is essentially half of all of the other guys around him. So I guess they think if he plays out of his mind, that his very top upside because of his irons and putting, I'm guessing that that is what is going into it, is why he rates out that highly in just win percentage, but nowhere else. That his bell curve is very high up here in terms of win, but everywhere in between, he's more likely to fall towards the back end of his bell curve than the top end on a consistent basis. That his median is far more to the left than the right, but the very tippy top is up there with that range of guys that he's well behind on the betting board. So it's interesting to think about that in terms of players' skill sometimes as well. Any updates on this summer's live golf content with the PME crew? I don't have any on that right now. Nothing. I'm kind of worried about the kid coming in. I'm doing these shows like 7 days a week right now. I'll take some time to plan it out. It's still a lot of snow on the ground. It's just not something I've been thinking about right now. I will keep you updated once I have an update. Kenny, Cust, Jeff, Garion, Cam, maybe, who knows? We'll try to get everyone out on the course and play some YouTube golf this year. I think that would be a lot of fun to do. And maybe we'll try to do a giveaway for, it's probably easier if I try to find a viewer who is local so I don't have to pay for flights and hotels for them. I'm not doing like that big of a budget for this, that if someone like local wanted to come out and play with us, me and that guy versus Kenny and Cust or something, I think that would be a lot of fun. Hey, first time listener here. What do you think about Scotty over under position 4? Those are not the type of bets I like to make. In fact, you probably shouldn't make them. Either bet the guy to win or don't. Or bet him top 5, that kind of thing. Took Rose for PGA because of your major show right before the Farmers and got him at 110-1. He dropped to like 50-1. Thank you. Hey, when he doesn't win, at least you got that great CLV. That's what we're all playing for here. All right. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Thank you for tuning in. If you didn't get your question asked, maybe you should have showed up in the first hour, is all I'm going to say. Turn on the notifications, then you'll know I'm going live. I have all of the information for the cheat this week. The weather, the bets, the write-ups, the percentages, the news, the links to all the shows, the DraftKings ownership. That's all available in the free Mayo Media newsletter, which you can just go click on for free down in the description right now. It has all of the information in there for you. Please sub to it. It's completely free. That stuff helps me out as well, just the same as smashing the like. If you haven't watched the show I did with Keith that came out earlier today, highly recommend it just for his Tiger Woods stories. If you don't know, Keith used to be one of the club pros where Tiger used to play. So he's played tons of cash games with Tiger over the years. So he tells some cool Tiger stories. We're getting Keith to tell his Tiger stories. He has a bunch of fun stories with a lot of PGA Tour players that we're going to get out of him as the season goes along. But I thought that this week's show was particularly good. Very proud of it. After we finished too, I talked to the producers, like, that felt like a good show. Like, Keith and I are really developing a good rapport. I thought this week showed that. So there we are. All right. That will do it for me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.